Right friends, welcome back to revision, and let us go ahead. Before that, some students are asking for reverting back to editorial discussion, and let us wait till June 18th. After June 18th, if majority of you, whatever pattern you want me to discuss daily current affairs, I will go with that. So don't worry and go ahead, because your immediate task is to clear civil services preliminary examination, and from June 18th onwards subsequently we will decide whatever format you want by keeping in mind both the prelims as well as mains. I will follow from June 18th onwards. So let us look at revision. Here this session is miscellaneous, and this is the 8th session. This is miscellaneous, and here please do not go exactly by the slides, because these slides we have taken from last year, and some you may have that bill, subsequently it might have become act. So do not worry about that, and I would like to explain what are the important aspects which took place during the past 1 year. Arbitration and Reconciliation Amendment Act, this brought, and arbitrator has to settle the case in 18 months. In fact, after 12 months, certain restrictions will come into force to ensure that the case does not linger. This assumed significance because in our country, they continue or linger on for several years, arbitration cases. Then of course, this is Payment of Bonus Amendment Act, not that important. Atomic Energy Amendment Act was brought, and this amends the Atomic Energy Act of 62, and now this NPCIL as well as Bharatiya Nabhikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited. At present, these two are entrusted which can operate nuclear power plants, but subsequent to this Amendment Act, now NPCIL can collaborate with other public sector undertakings in the nuclear field. Now the definition of government company is modified, and another thing is, one act was brought which aimed at creating commercial branches in select high courts. Then this Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose files were made public, and here one important point I would like to tell you: under Official Secrets Act of 1923, files can be kept secret. Then fire in Puttingal temple. In this context, one important aspect is the rules pertaining to storing of explosives. That is very important. Rules pertaining to storing of explosives is governed by Explosives Act of 84 and Explosives Rules of 2008, and the organization which is vested is Petroleum and Explosives Safety Organization. This is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So Explosives Act and Explosives Rules govern the display and storage of firecrackers. So the organization vested with this is Petroleum and Explosives Safety Organization. It regulates and monitors the trade of explosives in the country, very important. It is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Then headquarters is Nagpur, please do not forget, and it regulates around 2.5 lakh premises all over India. So this assumed significance because of one accident which took place in Kerala last year, right. Then Panama leaks. Because of Panama leaks, I would like to tell you 2 points. One important point is, India brought liberalized remittance scheme. You should have clear idea about liberalized remittance scheme, or LRS, because in the Panama leaks, all the accounts need not be illegal. Some may be legal also. So how can they be legal? Because India has got liberalized remittance scheme, or LRS. Under LRS, Indian citizens can remit up to $2,50,000 every year abroad to purchase any type of capital assets. Please do not forget, this is very important. Liberalized remittance scheme, $2,50,000 any citizen can remit per year to purchase any type of capital asset abroad. Then last year, India brought Black Money Act. Prior to Black Money Act, window was given, or you can say subsequently window was given for 4 months. At that time 30% plus 30%. Now as per the Black Money Act, for undisclosed assets abroad, if anyone is caught, then total comes to 30% tax, 90% penalty and imprisonment up to 10 years. So, these things I would like to tell you. Then measures taken by the government to control black money I have given here. We discussed about MCAA, this multilateral competent authority agreement, GAR already effected from 1st April. So, review of DTAAs is also taking place. Then this is one news item, that it is now mandatory for the mobile manufacturers to add inbuilt panic button from 1st January 2017, and at the same time GPS in all the phones is also mandatory from 1st January 2018. It is notified under Indian Wireless Telegraph Act 1933. Then the next one is, one panel is set up, RM Lotha panel, to see the functions of MCI. So, you may have a doubt, what is MCI? MCI is the statutory regulator of medical education and profession in India and was established under this MCI Act of 1933 and was reconstituted under Indian Medical Council Act of 1956. Now, it is being looked after by overseeing committee. So, you should have the status of MCI, that is why I included this. Then National Company Law Tribunal, previously it was Company Law Board, this is very important. Previously Company Law Board was there. So, Company Law Board was replaced by National Company Law Tribunal, that is one news. And second one is, there will also be Appellate Tribunal also, and one more important aspect is, this National Company Law Tribunal will not only handle various cases of companies, or you can say this National Company Law Tribunal that replaced the CLB. In addition to that, it will also handle various cases of companies currently with high courts as well as BIFR. This is very important, right? Then Armed Forces Special Powers Act, this is old act, but you should have clear idea who will declare disturbed areas. Here you see, disturbed areas means when there is continued unrest, militancy, insurgency, when borders are under threat because of religious, racial or ethnic clashes, then under those circumstances either central government or state governments can declare disturbed areas. Then what happens? Under section 3 of Armed Forces Special Powers Act, governor of a state issue official notification in the Gazette of India, and subsequently what happens? Center has the authority to send armed forces for civilian aid. So, once declared as disturbed area, the region has to maintain status quo for a minimum period of 3 months. So, the powers to the armed forces I have given here, you can go through this. Then Sagarmala Development Company was established. Here this will support the programs for execution of Sagarmala through special purpose vehicles. So, Sagarmala Development Company, this was established under Companies Act with authorized capital of 1000 crores under the administrative control of Ministry of Shipping, and one important aspect is it will provide equity support to projects to be executed through SPV route for Sagarmala, right. Next one is Government of India notified, we discussed number of times, this 4% plus or minus 2% based on CPI inflation. This is the inflation target given to Reserve Bank of India, and 31st March 2021 it will be applicable up to 31st March 2021. And you may have a doubt, what about powers? This is as per the powers conferred as per RBI Act 1934. Central government in consultation with RBI can notify inflation target, right. Then if it is not within 2% to 6% for 3 consecutive quarters, then it would mean a failure to achieve the inflation target. So, these things very, very important. Then this is SEBI's observations on Punji schemes. In fact, there are contradictory news items as far as Punji schemes are concerned. There was one news item, Punji schemes do not fall under the regulatory purview of SEBI. In fact, the SEBI has stated while giving reply to Supreme Court that Ponzi schemes do not fall under the regulatory purview of SEBI, and the same are banned under Price Chit and Money Circulation Banking Act 1978. It is a central government act. I am talking about this act, and the respective state governments are the enforcing agencies. This is as stated by SEBI, and as per this, state governments will be the regulators for Ponzi schemes, but subsequently there are contradictory news reports. That is one part, and second part is now it is decided to bring them under the SEBI purview also. Accordingly, one more news item is there. So, this was the stand taken by SEBI, right. Then nuclear suppliers insurance policy is unveiled for the first time in our country. Nuclear suppliers insurance policy was unveiled, and here GICRE is associated with it. Then one more point is, it is 27th global nuclear insurance pool. So, it will address third party liability insurance under civil liability for a nuclear damage act of 2010. So, this is very important, which happened in 2016. So, there will not be any problem for the foreign suppliers, not only fuel but also equipment suppliers, because third party liability will be taken care of by this India nuclear insurance pool. It was created with rupees 1500 crore, right. Let us go ahead. This stock holding limits, this quite often comes into the news. Here I have included what is the rules and regulations pertaining to Essential Commodities Act. This Essential Commodities Act is the law empowering the center to intervene in the market to protect consumer interests. So, the government can declare a commodity as essential. The commodities may include drugs, fertilizers, then pulses, edible oils, etc. And government can include new commodity as and when the need arises. And center, if it feels that certain commodity is in short supply, it can impose stock holding limits, and it improves the supplies and brings down the prices. So, here normally prices are decided by demand and supply dynamics, but this is an exception. However, states can choose not to impose any restrictions. This is about Essential Commodities Act. Additional information I have given here, please go through it. Then SEBI allows options trading in commodities. Previously in futures it was allowed. Now during the year this options trading is also allowed. And another important aspect is, last year Forward Markets Commission was merged with SEBI. Then about notes and coins, please go through this information, because the information with regard to notes and coins is also very important because of demonetization. Here all the coins and ₹1 note comes under Indian Coinage Act of 2011. Please understand, all the coins and ₹1 note comes under Indian Coinage Act. In India at present, coins are legal tender from 50 paise only, because 25 paise coins were demonetized in 2011, and as per Coinage Act, central government can mint up to ₹1000 coins. Remaining details I have given here, please go through it. And about currency notes, the currency notes is as per RBI Act of 1934, and as per this act, currency notes can be issued up to denomination of ₹10,000. And I have given information with regard to two presses owned by Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, as well as government run Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited, which has got presses at Devas as well as Nasik. So, the currency management like currency chests is monitored by Reserve Bank of India. Then Supreme Court quashes Punjab Termination of Water Agreements Act, and here one important aspect is presidential reference was made under Article 143. So, 142 Supreme Court can intervene to do complete justice, and Babri Masjid case 142 article, and 143 gives the Supreme Court power to refer it, or you can say the matters can be referred to Supreme Court, or you can say presidential reference. This presidential reference is as per 143 of the Constitution, and here This reference was made in 2004 and Supreme Court recently gave its verdict. It scrapped Punjab Termination of Water Agreements Act. So, here historical perspective of this water agreement I have given here. You can go through it because a question is expected on this also. This was also in the news. Then central government demonetized notes, very well known, and the important aspect to note is that is under subsection 2 of section 26 of RBI Act 1934. This is very, very important. Then the next one is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. I need not tell anything, please go through this slide. It is a tax 30% of undisclosed income, surcharge is 33% of tax, which comes to 9.9% of undisclosed income, 10% of income is penalty. So, it comes to total 49.9% of total undisclosed income. At the same time, mandatory deposit of 25% of undisclosed income, which will be interest free, and lock-in period is 4 years. Then the next one is Andhra Pradesh and special category status. This was quite often in the news, and the concept of special category was originated in 1970s to give central plan assistance to disadvantaged states. This was popularly known as DR Gadgil formula. At present, there are 11 states with special category status, right. So, special category states for most of the things get 90% as a grant, not always. So, for most of the cases, so 11 states enjoy special category status, and please go through those 11 states. Then Competition Commission of India is into the news because it imposed penalties on cement companies for cartelization. And please do not forget, Competition Commission of India is a statutory body for enforcing Competition Act of 2002, and it is basically to prevent activities that have an adverse impact on the competition in India. Then this corporate social responsibility is also quite often in the news. What is corporate social responsibility? This is as per Companies Act 2013. Here, certain class of profitable entities are required to spend at least 22%, at least 2% of their 3-year annual average net profit towards corporate social responsibility activities in a particular fiscal year. So, this corporate social responsibility, please do not forget. Then Kerala's Neelambur take will be added to the list of geographical indication tag. More than the products, I would like to tell you something about GI tag and several products, in fact basmati rice and several other products, Maharashtra products, number of Maharashtra products got GI tag, and I have given detailed information about GI tag here. So, GI indication is governed by WTO's TRIPS agreement. It is also covered under Paris Convention for the protection of industrial property. So, these things I have given here, please go through it. Then one more important aspect is with regard to Animal Welfare Board of India. This came to the news because of the reason this Jallikattu and Kambala in Karnataka. Because of those things, this is into the news. So, this Animal Welfare Board of India is the statutory body. It advises to the government, and it is under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And another important aspect is the basic purpose of Animal Welfare Board of India is to protect animals from being subjected to unnecessary pain or suffering, right. So, look at the next one. India decided to ratify 2 conventions of ILO. 2 conventions. First one is ILO Convention 182. INO Convention 182 bans worst forms of child labor, and government recently brought the law to ban adolescent children of 14 to 18 years of age group, adolescent children of 14 to 18 years of age group for working in hazardous occupations. So, here this is complied. Then minimum age of employment. India recently banned use of child labor up to 14 years of age except family run enterprises during school hours as well as holidays. Because of these two things, now India is in a position to ratify these conventions, right. Please understand this. Then Aadhaar Act, all of you are familiar with this. Please go through this slide. Then what are the sections? One is section 7, Aadhaar is mandatory for receipt of certain subsidies, benefits as well as services. Then section 29A says that Aadhaar number or biometric information will be made public. No Aadhaar number or biometric information will be made public. Similarly, section 33 has given national security clause. Please go through these PPTs. Then suicide is not a criminal act. So here section 309, in fact now suicide will not be a criminal act. Accordingly, India got now new mental health care law, right. You can go through this slide. Then the next one is about Disabilities Act. This Disabilities Act, in fact disabilities were increased and several changes were made, and here please look into this. This total number of disabilities increased from 7 to 21, and central government has got the power to add more number of disabilities, and certain disabilities added with specific names. Please go through this PPT, and here some more information I have given. Reservation in government establishments also increased, and district court may order guardianship for the disabled person if found a mentally ill person is not capable of taking care of himself, right. Then National Waterways Bill, as per this, now the national waterways increased to 111. Previously there were 5, now total national waterways increased to 111, right. First national waterway is being developed with the assistance of World Bank, please do not forget. Compensatory Afforestation Fund Bill 2016, this is very, very important. So please go through this slide. I explained you previously. Here the necessary historical perspective also I have explained. Then when the forest land is diverted for other purposes under Forest Conservation Act of 1980, now the money which the states will get will be maintained as separate account, right. So the ultimate thing as per this act is National Compensatory Afforestation Funds at center and states will be created, and that will be maintained as a separate public account. This is all about, it is non-lapsable public account, right. The money will not go to the consolidated fund of India. So this act is very, very important. Then Enemy Property Amendment and Validation Bill passed, and here now after the passage of this, now the heirs of the persons who left India cannot claim, here after the wars against China and Pakistan, property belonging to the nationals of these two countries was taken over by the Union government, and later on Enemy Property Act 1968 was passed, and all such movable and immovable properties were kept with the custodian, and custodian is an office instituted under the central government. Now their legal heirs cannot claim this property. This is all about Enemy Property Amendment and Validation Act. Then maternity benefit, this is very important. So here 12 weeks to 26 weeks, it is increased, this maternity leave for the first 2 children, and for children beyond the first 2 it will be 12 weeks only, and for commissioning mothers also 12 weeks leave would apply. And if you go further, here every establishment with more than 50 employees or which employ more than 30 women need to provide CREC facility, right. Then this is into the news, please do not forget about this. Union list, state list, concurrent list, and here Article 245 says that under list 1 Parliament may make laws, under list 2 state legislatures will have authority to make laws, and under concurrent list, here if the law made by legislature violates the law made by Parliament, then this doctrine of repugnancy will come into picture. We discussed about this. Then PHEIC, during the year Zika was declared as public health emergency of international concern. Subsequently it was taken out, right. So, what is the meaning of public health emergency of international concern? You have to go through this, right. Then India ratifies the trade facilitation agreement of WTO. So, what is the meaning of trade facilitation agreement? The pact will facilitate faster movement, release and clearance of goods, faster clearance for exports or imports. So, it will result in lower trade costs, then improved trade flows, faster customs clearances, more foreign trade in tune with ease of doing business. So, how the country will benefit because of this trade facilitation agreement, you should have clear idea. DTAA was modified with several countries. So, I have given the details here, please go through them. So, friends, we discussed various miscellaneous aspects today in the 8th lecture. So, once again we will meet tomorrow at 11 AM to discuss further aspects, right friends. Please do join for questions and answers sessions at 11:30. Have a nice day. Thank you.